Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the last day of my section hike, day 7. This is May 8th. I started on May 2nd. And I had gotten the day before from Poplar Stamp Gap, I think it was, just past Low Gap Shelter, across Unicoi Gap, up over Rocky Mount, and ended up at the Cheese Factory, mile marker 56.2. And then I had planned on going to Deep Gap Shelter that day, about 10 miles, between 9 and 10 miles, and woke up, it started raining. It was forecast to rain all day, and I decided it was just another 3.5 miles to my, well, really 3.5 miles to get off the trail, 4 miles to my car. I decided to just make the straight hike all the way to my car. So started out at Cheese Factory, a very good campsite. I camped in the, down inside some big mountain laurels, rhododendrons, and it was really good. The good water source there. Went over Trey Mountain right away and early in the morning, and then hiked down through a couple gaps, Addis Gap and another one, I think Sassafras Gap, I think it was called, where I got water, and then ended up going over Kelly Knob, come down the backside of Kelly Knob to Deep Gap Shelter, and and then at Deep Gap Shelter, it was very crowded, as I say, and I recapped this whole thing here. When I came back to Jacksonville, I recapped, and you can see that video in a second. So it was a very good day, very wet, very muddy, very sliding. The clay was everywhere, and I just wanted to get off the trail. I did eat. As I said, I did eat at the Deep Gap Shelter, which went well, but it was very crowded. It was still raining, and I just went in there and ate dry. They have like some overhangs with some benches, so I could eat dry. And then hiked it on in. Very tired after a solid, 8 days, I guess 7 days of hiking. And I was gonna hike in the next morning, but I decided to just cut on out. Went and got a beautiful hotel room at the Holiday Inn Express, and ate some good food. Took some through hikers that you see in the pictures to resupply the next day, and then they continued on. They stayed another day, and I left, went back home. So this video, I didn't do much filming or pictures. It was raining solid the whole day, so here it is, and look forward to this year's hike. It has been a great year since then. Had some great hikes, and looking forward to just having a great section hike this year. As I say later on, I go from Dix Creek Gap, where I stop, all the way to the NOC through Franklin, North Carolina, and I'm really looking forward to that this year. So look forward to seeing y'all then. I'll be posting some videos, and make it a great day. Hammerhead out. See you, bye. Hey, Hammerhead here. Just got done climbing Trey Mountain from my campsite, which was at the Cheesecake Factory, the Cheese Factory. We call it Cheesecake Factory, so I can think about eating cheesecake. But up on top of Trey Mountain, that was 1.5 of my 13.5 miles a day, and I got to go some flats. Get down off here, do some flats, get up over Kelly's Knob. Should be nice to me. Obviously named Irish, so I'm Irish, so it should be an easy climb, and I hope so. Then head on back. So it's raining off and on all day today, so it's probably the only thing I'm going to say. But it's a great day. It was really bad weather. I'll pull up short at a shelter and walk in tomorrow morning. Love you guys. I'm going to give you a couple picture shots here when I get done recording. Bye. Hey, Hammerhead here, back in Jacksonville, and just thought I'd show you my muddy clothes for my final day of hiking. I was going to stay, this would be Thursday night, I was at the cheese factory, which is about 59.2 miles on the trail, and that was March, I guess Friday would have been March 8th. So March 7th, Thursday night, and I was going to go to low gap or deep gap shelter, which was basically been a little under 10 miles a day, but I was going to evaluate the shelter when I got there and evaluate how many people were there, because Friday was a rain day. So I woke up Friday morning and it was raining all night, so the tent was wet. Nothing I had was wet. The tent did fine. I was concerned about, it's a 14-year-old tarp tent that I resealed, and it went great. No leaks. I think the night before, or 2 nights before, I had some condensation, but that was not a leak. You know, that was just lack of ventilation at the time. But everything stayed dry. So I loaded up, put on my rain gear. I'll show you in a second what I had on, and then started trudging through the mud, and the trail was nothing but mud and rocks and roots the whole way. Going downhill, that's the dangerous part. It gets very, very slippery. You've got clay mixed together with composted leaves on the trail, and it's very deep and just slippery all downhill. So went over Trey Mountain, went over Kelly's Knob, left about between 6:30 and 7. I left my camp, and I got at 2 o'clock. So basically 7 hours later, I got 10 miles into Deep Gap. Walked into Deep Gap. It was off the trail a little bit, and there was already a good bit of people there, and then 5 people showed up while I was eating. I knew if I was going to try to make it back to town, I had to eat. I'd eaten nothing but food bars. I ate 4 protein bars. During the day, that was it. I had them available without taking my pack off, and I just powered through and banged them out, you know, yada yada. So anyway, got them in, got to the Deep Gap. I ate a couple wraps, one of my salami deli wrap with stick cheese, and the other one was just peanut butter, and those are the Fat Bomb macadamia nut butter that I have, and man, that's a good dessert wrap right there. Just peanut butter on a low carb wrap. Powered up with those. I already had water, and earlier in the day I'd stopped at Steel Trap Gap, and I walked, you know, it was a good quarter mile downhill to get to the stream, but I had no water. So I sat down there and I cameled up. I'm going to have a video about this, but that means that I filtered water, and I drank as much water as I could physically hold. I drank about 1.5 quarts of water to fill up on water. Then I carried my liter and my sport bottle with me, so I wouldn't need water the rest of the day. I could make it to the next morning without watering up. So anyway, did that. At Deep Gap, I decided not to stay. It was still raining hard. The tent sites were all wet, and I decided it was basically a 3.5-4 mile walk back to top of Georgia Hostel where my car was, and I decided to just bite the bullet, even though I was tired and I was starting to get cold sitting there. I decided to put on a dry shirt, so I took off my wet shirt. I had soaked it with sweat, not with water, so I put on a dry shirt, put back on for eating time. I put my puffy on, but then I got the puffy off and got my raincoat on, and I hoofed it back. Got in about 5 o'clock, 4:30. Left, you know, little after 2 o'clock from. I guess I got to Deep Gap at 1:30, and a little after 2 o'clock I took off and got to about 4:30 to top of Georgia Hostel. Rented a fine room at the Holiday Inn Express. I took no pictures of it whatsoever when I got there, but I completely recommend the Holiday Inn Express. It's a few more dollars than the other hotels there, but it's clean, it's run well, and has a really, really massive breakfast. Hot pancakes, all kinds of delicious hot honey buns. The lady there makes the honey buns to order, and I mean, they're just wonderful. Everything there. You guys know I don't eat bread, so I didn't eat any of them, but but a lot of other people did. So anyway, let me show you what I had on yesterday and some of the mud, and we'll talk about these things later as I review them. But was a wonderful final day. So it turned out to be basically a 14-mile day, and through the mud and the rain, over 2 mountains, and great way to end it. I was wet, I was cold, and I was excited to be out there in God's world. So let me show you this. Turn the camera around. Hold on a second. All right, so obviously I had my rain cover on. That's the Osprey extra large. It goes from like 55 liters to 65 liters, or 55 to 70 liters. And I really like this rain cover. It, of course, didn't get dirty, but it has a strap across the back. This strap kind of goes under your shoulder straps, holds it in place. It stayed in place all day. Of course, I had my Torrent shell on. You can see getting in and out of things, you know, it got a little dirty. But this is a great raincoat. I had the pit zips undone all day, ventilating myself. And then later on, when I started getting cold, I turned it off. I turned the pit zips, you know, shut, and hoofed it on back in. That's my Patagonia silk weight long sleeve T-shirt, and that's what I wore all day under just that and my raincoat. And what I don't have out here is my wool buff, which came on only at the end, and it never got wet. It was around my neck and up over my head, and I had I'll show you all my oar hat that I bought, the ventilated hat. But look at the mud on those pants. Did not fall, but had several slides downhill, and this is why they call them Dirty Girl Gators right there. That's the Hawaiian girl dancing gators, and man, look at those ultra temps. And I'll tell you this, I am 150% convinced these are the best hiking shoes I could ever have. I love these shoes. And yes, I use the Berry women's inserts. They fit my foot better. And of course I have my Darn Tough running. Those are the quarter thin trail running socks, and they work great. Had a great day, and these things have great trail grip, and this did a wonderful time. I'm going to wash them out in a bucket here before I take them inside and put them in the real washing machine, but I'm going to try to knock off the topsoil if I can. Alright guys, we're back. Had a great day, and that's what the muddy world looks like. I'm going to get everything unpacked and dried out and get ready for some more hiking. Alright, Hammerhead out. Bye. Hey, Hammerhead here. Just to end my Appalachian Trail section hike days, I wanted to put these two pictures up. This is a couple of the folks I hiked with. This is Billy Goat and Red, two brothers I met at Hawk Mountain Shelter. I met them along with a hiker named Easy from Temple University, and they went all the way to Katahdin. This is a picture of us in Hiawassee after we left the trail, and just had a great time hiking with them. Wonderful kids. And I did want to say, as someone who's in the second half of my life, I plan on living to 100. I'm 56, so that puts me in my second half. It's great to see young folks that are clean, you know, they're just great folks, salt of the earth, and enjoyed being around them. And glad to see they made it all the way to Katahdin. This next picture is on Blue Mountain, or at Blue Mountain Shelter above Unicoi Gap. Easy met Chance, and Chance actually has a YouTube channel I'm putting on the screen, and she documented her hike all the way through to Katahdin. You can see Easy on there hiking with her, and it was great to be there. I was on Blue Mountain when they met, and excited to see them finish their hiking trip. So it was a wonderful section hike. I got everything I wanted out of it. I saw the beginnings of thru hikers. I saw people quit. I saw people struggling to make it. I saw people excited to be there, and I saw people ill-equipped, and I saw people with all the right equipment and the right preparation. So can't wait to get back on the trail this spring. I'm going to be hiking the next section from Dix Creek Gap where I left off, and I'm going to be hiking from there to the NOC, which is about the next 70-ish miles, and just can't wait to get back on the trail. So look forward to seeing y'all, and appreciate you watching. There'll be prep videos and other videos coming soon. Make it a great day, and make it a day on the trail. Bye-bye. Hammerhead out.